That's right, Batwoman is joining the Arrowverse, and if you're thinking, cool, Barbara Gordon, you're wrong. Batwoman is not Batgirl, but don't worry, here's what you need to know about this important DC heroine. So Batgirls such as Barbara Gordon and Cassandra Cain are more like sidekicks to Batman rather than true peers, but Batwoman is a fully independent heroine. Her modern incarnation, Kate Kane, has a military background, her own tragic past, and a proven track record as a defender of Gotham City with her own resources. Batman who? The original version of Batwoman was Kathy Kane. She was conceived way back in 1956 as a way of expanding Batman's supporting cast, but also to address concerns raised in the infamous 1954 book, Seduction of the Innocent, which had taken the comics world by storm with its thesis that comics were a cause of juvenile delinquency. One of the authors, Frederick Wortham's claims was that Batman and Robin stories contained a gay subtext, so DC responded with Batwoman and her niece Batgirl as wholesome love interests for the dynamic duo. Decades later, comic book writers flipped the script and made Batwoman one of DC's most prominent LGBT characters to date. Batwoman has no superhuman abilities, but she doesn't need powers anyway. Kate Kane is an expert martial artist whose skills have been honed by her time at West Point and growing up with an ex-Army colonel for a father. She has extensive firearms training, though like Batman, she tends to forego guns in favor of her fists and other non-lethal weapons. Her family fortune also funds all kinds of high-tech gadgets, including advanced body armor and many tools that were inspired by Batman's own arsenal. The original Batwoman, Kathy Kane, and her niece played a recurring role in the Batman line from 1956 until 1964, when legendary editor Julie Schwartz cleaned house and eliminated Batwoman, Batgirl, and the growing menagerie of Bat sidekicks. They were replaced by the new Batgirl Barbara Gordon, who became a prominent fixture in the comics and the Adam West TV series.
Perhaps you'd include Batgirl, too.
Batgirl?
Eventually, 1985's Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover removed Batwoman and Batgirl from DC continuity altogether. It wouldn't be until 2007 that a new Batwoman would rise. The weekly series 52 introduced the modern incarnation of Batwoman, Kate Kane. Despite the similar names, Kate was for all intents and purposes a different character from Kathy. Whereas the original Batwoman, Kathy Kane, was an arguably misguided response to the homophobia of the time, the new Batwoman, Kate Kane, was conceived and written as a lesbian. An early tragedy claimed the life of both Kate's mother and seemingly her twin sister Beth. That sparked an obsession with justice that eventually led her to find inspiration thanks to Batman. Unfortunately, that twin sister would turn out to be alive and is basically Kate's own personal Joker. Oh, and thanks to DC's ever-changing continuity, the original Batwoman, Kathy Kane, was revived and reimagined in 2011 thanks to writer Grant Morrison. But she's not Batwoman anymore, just an assassin for the super spy organization Spiral. Because, you know, comics. While Batwoman has appeared in several animated Batman projects over the years, oftentimes these versions differed substantially from the source material. The Kate Kane version did show up in 2016 Batman Bad Blood, as well as several DC video games.
Bruce, it's Kate. You're coming to Maggie and I's engagement thing next week, aren't you?
But Batwoman finally makes her live-action debut as part of a December 2018 crossover between Supergirl, The Flash, and Arrow, with Ruby Rose cast as Kate Kane. So are you excited to see Batwoman? Tell us in the comments section. And for more comic book knowledge, check out our videos on Riot, the villain in the new Venom movie, and our explainer on the next Spider-Man movie villain, Mysterio. And as always, be sure to follow and subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch.